Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the first actual proper show of 2025. I hope everybody is doing well and has had a great time and has recovered from New Year's hangovers. If you had one, I didn't actually. Given the amount that I actually drank that night, and the whole day I had been pretty much drinking the whole day, and then all that I put away on show, because I was considerably drunk, as you may have observed, and was quite considerably sweary as a result. I woke up absolutely fine. Not a problem, no hangover, no headache, no nothing. I felt actually pretty good. And I had my breakfast, I had my lunch, I had my dinner, and no vom, no nothing. So, so yeah, no hangover at all. I felt absolutely fine. But there again, I should admit something. And I don't normally share my personal life particularly, but in my younger days, and we're talking 30 years ago, I had a very serious drinking problem. Very, very serious drinking problem. I was putting away a bottle of whiskey a day. But I always woke up the next day, no problem, no hangover, no nothing, which was probably pretty dangerous when you think about it. So, I stopped drinking 30 years ago, and I have not touched whiskey or anything like that since, and pretty much only now have the occasional glass of wine once in a while, and I will have the occasional can of beer. I will drink more on the Studio One meetup that I host. I will drink maybe 2 or 3 of the cans of IPA there, or a bottle of Budweiser, but other than that, I don't really drink at all, other than those things, those events. But yeah, so I used to put an awful lot of alcohol away when I was in my 20s, in my late teens, early 20s, and I went through a period of maybe about 5 years where I didn't drink at all. I drank no alcohol at all. Took me maybe about 5 years to get completely straightened out and sober. And I have been that way ever since, which I feel is a very good thing because, I was told by medics that I probably would not live very long if I kept on doing what I was doing. So anyway, that is, that's kind of a bit of a long story, which I'm not really going to go into any further because there's just no reason. But anyway, new year, new me, new you, new pretty much everything apart from the surroundings that I'm in at the moment. But this is new. You may have seen this before. This is a fleece-lined jacket, kind of lumberjack-style jacket, which my wife got me for Christmas. And this is incredibly warm and cozy. And it does mean that if it's very cold, like it is here at the moment in Scotland, where we have snow and the temperature is well below freezing, I can sit in here and I can work just wearing a t-shirt and wearing this, and I'm plenty warm enough. I don't need to put the heating on or anything because this is like super duper warm. So yes, this is definitely new. I got a few other kind of new items of clothing as well, but yeah, that was Christmas and New Year, really. So we are starting 2025, not so much with a bang, but certainly with maybe with some momentum. Because I have had a bunch of requests for videos to make, plus the videos that were already on my list, and some topics, or at least 2 or 3 topics, some people have sent me for shows for both Sunday Night Live, and I got one songwriting question as well. So if you want to If you want to provide me with more of those kind of things, and I can add them to the list because I am going to start making my way through them starting next week. In fact, starting on Wednesday, because Songwriting Simplified is on Wednesday this week. So go to the web address at the bottom there. Let's see if I can do this properly this time. JonnyLipshamStudios.co.uk. If you go there, there is a contact form. If you look at the menu at the top of the website, hit on Contact Us, fill out that form, and you can ask your question there, or you can make your suggestion for a show, or, you know, if you've got a much bigger question that cannot possibly be fitted into the chat here, then please do ask it, and I will definitely include it in an upcoming show, or if I think that it actually stands being made into a video, a standalone video, then I will do that for definite. Because that's the kind of thing I want to do to serve you guys in 2025. Plus, like I said, all the other videos that I've already got in the can and lined up to be shot and put in the can as well. So I've got plenty of content that are going to keep you guys educated and interested in 2025. It's going to be a heck of a year. Now, one of the reasons why it's going to be a heck of a year is because if you remember from last year, Presonus were talking about the future for Studio One. And in particular, now that we are on version 7, kind of how things are going to change a little bit for Studio One going forward. One of the things they mentioned was do a video or show on collaboration. Actually, I think I already have a video on collaboration tools already in my Studio One 6, I think it was, series. It's in one of those series anyway. But yes, if you search my video for my channel for collaboration, you should find that there is a video already there. But that is a good idea for sure. So Presonus were talking about the way that versioning for Studio One is going to go going forward. And they talked about a faster release cycle. And they talked about, you know, I think maybe 2 or 3, maybe 4 times a year, there will be a feature drop of a bundle of features for Studio One, instead of like doing a brand new version or an update or something like that. There would just be new features that are added. So version 7 is pretty much the only version of Studio One going forward. There will be no version 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and so on and so forth. But what will happen is it will have a date instead. So 2025 version 1, something like that. 2025.1, 0.2, 0.3, something like that is what we will see going forward. That much was announced in the video that Presonus put out. So just in case you'd forgotten all about that, that is still going to be coming up in 2025. So this year, this is all going to start rolling out. So because there's new features coming and there's more new features being added much faster, I will have more videos coming out showing you how those new features work. So instead of there being, you know, an update once in a while that has some new features, it's going to be much faster, so I'm going to have to work much harder at getting more videos out. So this is kind of a good thing and a bit of a benefit for us, for me and for you as well, because what this means is a faster release cycle means more videos that I make to show you guys how the new things work. Because that's what I do. That's kind of, in large part, a big part of what this channel does. So we do these shows, and I also make videos covering the new features when they're released. And there'll be some other standalone videos as well. So there's a lot of stuff coming for 2025, a lot of new videos, and I can't wait to get those out to you. I'm very excited. So I know we made, on the New Year's show, I know we made a bunch of predictions for that show. To be honest, for reasons that I have already explained, I don't think I can remember very much of what we talked about. So we can kind of go over those again. And if you still have some predictions about what might be coming in these feature bundles, then yes, get them in the chat and we can talk some more about those tonight. That would be good. I'm very excited about all of that. All right, so let's see. Billy Morgan, as per usual, was first in the door because I'm pretty sure that he sits there and he waits for the show to get created. So, followed by Chris Mrackner, who says, "You always manage to beat me, Billy. I hope you've had a great holiday." Yeah, I hope you have had a great holiday too, Billy. In fact, I hope everybody has. I hope everybody has had a great time. I certainly have, notwithstanding the show that we did on Hogmanay. I think that was by far possibly the best Hogmanay show I think I've ever done on this channel, by the way. And then we got MJ, that's Mike Johnson, over in the Philippines with his new channel saying, let's do the Philippines. By the way, go check out his channel if you've not seen it already. If you want to see what life is like for an American expat in the Philippines, go check out his channel because he's pretty much vlogging what life is like on that channel. So go check that out if you're interested in that. We got Tony Stringer here as well. We got Danny Taylor. We got Keyman who says, what? Yep, we are back. And we got Steve Wilson as well. I think I saw Stephen Wilson's name. Yep, there he is. We got Kyle Traduziak. We got Jimmy Three Balls. I know who that is. And his name is definitely not Jimmy, but still. Kyle says, MJ has put up a live rooster cam. Can't help showing off the neighbor's large chicken. That's just too funny. And you nearly had me reading that out. It would have been inappropriate. Let's see. We got Dwayne here as well. And we got Mark as well. Chris, you are a very funny man, my friend. And I appreciate your friendship enormously. But you are very funny. They are Johnny's special little pals. He's talking about the people that have the wrenches. Yes, they are my moderators. Because in times past, not so much nowadays, but certainly in times past, before I set this to subscriber mode only, we had a bunch of people in here that were trying to spam and they were trying to post porn links and stuff like that. And my moderators basically cleaned up town and I was advised by my moderators actually to set it in subscriber mode only, which we do. But they shall remain my moderators forever. And yes, they are my special pals. That's for sure. Let's see. You guys are being very, very funny, if not a little bit risque, but you're being very funny. And Keith is here from Radio Tuck Frumpet. He did a mammoth, and I mean mammoth, Hogmanay show, all of his own, which was 4 hours of glorious music. It's well worth, if you've got like 4 hours to spare, like on the weekend, it's well worth checking out that entire show. How he maintained the energy for the whole 4 hours, I will never know. It was pretty extraordinary. And he says he's just noticed that he has 6 months of Studio One Pro Plus because of his IO station. There you go. And the good news for you, Keith, is those 6 months are stackable. What does that mean? That means if you've already got Studio One Pro Plus, let's say you've got it for a year or something, it adds 6 months to your already existing 12 months. Or if you've already got 6 months, it adds another 6 months, which, guess what? 6 plus 6 is 12. What does 12 mean? 12 months is 1 year. what do you get at the end of an annual subscription? Perpetual license for Studio One Pro Plus. So there you go. Pretty sure that's how it works. But yes, they are definitely stackable. So I know this because on my account, I have a couple of pieces of PreSonus hardware that also gave me subscription, and it basically just added it to what I already had. So in my case, I had a piece of hardware that gave me a year, but I already had a year, so that gave me another year, and then I added the Quantum HD8, which also gave me another year, so that's given me like 3 years in a row, basically. So that's worked out pretty cool for me, actually. CHDB Music is here. Hello to you, my friend. I'm glad you are here. And Chris is asking what happened to the little heart thingy that used to be on the bottom right of the channel, of the chat rather. It's still there. I'm looking at it right now, and if I click on it, it still does the heart and smiley face and the confetti and the 100 and all that stuff. Those still work. They are still there. It maybe you just need to drag the chat bar across a little bit so that you can see it. Something like that will be the case. It may well just be hidden. But yes, you can still hit that heart button to your heart's content. If you like what we're talking about and you like the answers that I give, please do smack that heart button, smack the like button. We got 27 people here watching, but we've only got 13 likes. So please, if you like what we're talking about, hit the like button. It helps me a lot. Helps me more than you think it does. So please do smash the like button. But don't break your mouse whilst you're doing that, please. Let's see. What else do we have here? Neil Thompson is here as well. Says, you guys are nuts. No kidding. No kidding there. We got Dave Barcelo here as well. Neil's claiming I still look slightly hungover. No. It might be my lighting, actually. I've had issues with the camera software. It totally, all the color temperature just went screwy. And you may have noticed on the Hogmanay show, actually the lighting was a little bit dark, and that's because I actually had the light set at the wrong brightness. I don't know how that happened. But anyway, it's fixed. We got 30 people watching. We've got 18 likes. Smack the like button. I like to get like parity. What does that mean? Current viewers and likes. I like them to be the same. So 30 likes and 30 viewers. That would be handy. If you could make that happen, please, I would appreciate it a lot. Edgar Price is here as well. Dave Barcelo, I think I've already mentioned you. You are here. And I know some of you are in parts of the United States where you are either under tornado warnings, or you are experiencing blizzard conditions. So, and some of you are actually probably in states where pretty much nothing is happening and it's all a little bit boring. But to you guys who are in severe weather zones, whether for tornadoes or for the blizzard conditions, please do take great care and look after yourselves and your families and your neighbors. And look out for everybody and make sure that everybody is all right. Because I know it's pretty darn scary out there in some parts of the United States at the moment. JL says he's stackable. Yes, I am totally stackable. I can stack myself on top of myself. Let's see what else we've got. Yes, I did say that, Mark. I did say getting additional Pro Plus extensions for purchase of PreSonus gear. Yes, if you have a piece of PreSonus hardware that comes with subscription to Studio One Pro Plus, if you already have hardware that's given you membership, or you have already purchased membership, then those 6 months can be added to it, and we call that stacking. All right. If you're not really sure what I'm talking about, you can go to, let me pull up the FAQ page. Stand by. And I'll show you how this works. So let's go FAQs. Studio One Pro Plus subscriptions. Okay, I'm going to show my screen at this point. And this is the bit that you need to read. So if you need to zoom in, please do zoom in using whatever magnifying glass or whatever application you have on your computer to do this. What is stacking? Studio One Pro Plus plans. Stacking refers to the possibility of combining multiple access periods of bundled or prepaid Studio One Pro Plus access. For example, you may purchase a PreSonus audio interface that includes 6 months of access to Studio One Pro Plus. Before the 6-month period ends, you could purchase an eligible pair of PreSonus Studio monitors or a production controller, which would grant another 6 months of access. In this scenario, your total bundled time would equal 12 months of access to Studio One Pro Plus. As an added benefit to stacking, users who stack 12 months or more will be converted to an annual plus plan and be awarded a perpetual license, just as you would if you had subscribed to annual plus plan originally. Select retailers also offer a prepaid 6-month access plan to Studio One Pro Plus, which can also be stacked and works exactly as outlined above, wherein 2 of these 6-month plans will stack to 12 months of access and unlock a perpetual license. Okay, so that's what this stacking business is all about, okay? And unfortunately, it won't let me highlight this, but that's what that refers to. And then there's a blurb here. Many PreSonus hardware products now include completely free stackable months of access to Studio One Pro Plus. That means anyone that purchases eligible PreSonus hardware products will have unlimited access to the latest version of Studio One Pro and a host of extras in Studio One Pro Plus. And then there's this thing here. Access is stackable. 6 plus 6 equals 12 and gives you the perpetual license. So I was correct, even though I was kind of slightly second guessing myself. This is in fact correct. Okay, so if you have, let's say, an HD2 or an IO station like Keith has, or you go to somewhere like Sweetwater and Toman or somewhere like that, and you get one of these 6 months bundles, and then you decide to get another one, it would basically add up to an annual plus subscription and would give you the perpetual license that you would get as if you had bought an annual plus subscription. So I hope that that is now abundantly clear. All right, I'm going to go back over here. And so yes, so I hope that that helps out, because that's a great, great question. Yeah, I think some people, they kind of maybe not quite understand how that works. So I hope that that has cleared that up. Mike says, we need more viewers. Everyone go to this YouTube link, stream with everyone you know. Oh, okay, cool. You're talking about your stream that you've got with your rooster. That's cool. Yep. Everyone go over there if you want to check out the rooster that lives pretty much right next door to Mike. It's hilarious. And I think that rooster pretty much annoys Mike constantly. So you can be annoyed with Mike. Keith says, I also found another 6 months for my AudioBox USBs, so I got a whole year for free. Yes, you do. Oh, you're talking about my stream. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that, Mike. I appreciate that. Yes. Yeah, please do go and gather some people. I would appreciate that because we did have 30 and now we've dropped down to 25. 25 is great. You guys are all, every single one of you is awesome. And I appreciate you guys a lot. All right, so we're about halfway through the show. Bob, that's funny. I'm not going to read it, dude, but that's funny. JW is here. He says hello and thanks. I'm glad you're thanking me. I appreciate that. And Mike says he shared my stream on a couple of places. Great. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. The more, the merrier. I have big plans for this year. I will tell you right now that we are round about 5,650 subscribers at the moment. So for this year, one of the things I'm planning is I want to get past 6,000 subscribers this year. And I believe that is definitely doable because we're only talking about another 450 or so subscribers. So we're not talking a load of people. So that's one of the things I am aiming for is to get past 6,000 subscribers. And then I want to get moving towards 10,000 subscribers, which is a little bit more of an ask. I don't think we can do that in a year. That's going to be much harder to do. But yes, I want to get to 10,000 subscribers because that's kind of a bit of a decent milestone. Yes, we will do something celebratory. There we go. That's how you say that word. When we get to 6,000 subscribers, for sure. I will do an extended stream and I will have some guests and stuff like that. I nearly said shit like that. Oh, I just said shit like that. There you go, Danny. That's number one. So, by my reckoning, I think there was like 35 sweaty words on the Hogmanay show. I think it was. So I think we can round that out to like £35 in the sweaty jar, which should be able to buy me something to replace these lights. So yes, I do have targets. I do have things that I want to do this year to improve the quality of things that I do here. So for example, I have what is lighting me right now is a pair of lights, ring lights that I got from IKEA. They're actually not bad. They're not terrible. But I would definitely like to improve the quality of the lighting. I'd like to get some backlighting behind the monitor to light me from behind a little bit more, and a little bit more side lighting as well, and some lighting on the keyboard, because at the moment there really isn't very much in the way of lighting. Everything is just lit from everything is just lit from those ring lights. So I want to be able to light the keyboard a bit better so that you guys can see what I'm doing a bit more. And I want to be able to get another camera. I have the boom mic that I bought to replace the old mic stand before I got this one, which you may have seen on a couple of streams like a year ago, where the mic was like pretty much right in my face. I didn't like it. So I pretty much just dumped that on the floor down there. But what I could do is I could potentially mount the camera to that microphone stand and attempt to see if I can get it to point down like an overhead shot for the keyboard, because I think it'll be easier for you to see what I'm doing if I have that. And then it's just a case of orientating the camera so that it's not upside down to you guys, so that you're looking down on the keyboard as if from my perspective. So something like that, and an overhead light for the keyboard those are things I'm looking at investing in. because I think that will make the Sunday Night Live show a bit easier. But we'll see. I'm not even sure if the whole using the mic stand is going to work for another camera, but we will try it and we will see. But then the other problem I have is, do I have enough USB ports to run like another camera? I'm not sure that I do. So there's some concerns there. Maybe a powered USB hub might do it. I'm not really sure. I'm kind of, this is all unexplored, uncharted waters for me. I've never kind of done that before. Overhead camera hanging down from a slinky. Okay, that would be interesting. Secret Squirrel is here, which is awesome. Welcome. I'm glad you're here, mate. He says, not for nothing, but I shared your channel with both of my Twitter followers. So you may want to invest in building your infrastructure to support my influential influx. Thank you very much. I appreciate that a lot. Mike says, as a long-time music, if you were me, would you ship your old keyboards from the US to the Philippines, or just sell or donate and then buy only new stuff? I think you've probably got to look at shipping costs. That's probably the first thing you've got to look at, is shipping costs. And then, are they going to charge you import duty as well as the shipping costs? And is that going to mean that's going to be less cost effective than just selling the stuff and using the proceeds to buy new gear? And also, are you going to be able to buy new gear in the Philippines? That might be another concern to think about, because I seem to recall that you had some difficulties buying some gear before. So that might be something to consider. My keyboards are very old and may not be available there. In that case, it may just be a case of sell your gear, and whatever money you get, then you can certainly put that towards buying a couple of new keyboards. I mean, where you are just now, you probably don't need to go completely overboard and get, half a dozen keyboards. You don't need to be a Ron Figura. We only need one Ron Figura. You don't need a whole ton of keyboards. You probably just need like one that's like got a big enough key bed that you can play piano properly, and is also going to allow you to do drum programming, stuff like that, using whatever drum VSTs that you have. So that's probably what you would be looking at. I would just look at just one keyboard rather than two. I mean, yes, I have two, and as I think I've explained this before, but this keyboard down here, this one is just set just as it's just set just as, I don't know if you could hear that. It appears to be going through OBS twice. I don't know why that is. Okay, I'm just going to try a little experiment. Hang on. I'm going to mute my mic for a second. Okay, so I'm assuming you could still hear that, but I don't know whether you could. That's the keyboard. And I just noticed that it appears to be going through OBS twice. And I'm not sure whether what you're hearing is just the key bed or the actual sound of the piano at all. We still hear the piano. Okay, piano is audible and good with no double shot action. Good, okay. Is it loud enough? Oh, you heard it mic muted. Good. because it appears to not be as loud as it has been before. I wonder why that's happened. I'll have to check my OBS settings and kind of figure out why. Strange. You're probably getting blowback on your... I'm not actually. I'm not getting any feedback at all because I have the volume of my speakers set so low that you won't get any feedback. Because if I put the speakers on full volume, I would get feedback immediately. This microphone would feedback instantly off the speakers. So I don't do that so that I can basically do this show without wearing headphones. Okay, sounds good. Perfect volume. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Anyway, I totally lost my train of thought with doing that. But that was the thing. I looked and that's weird. I hadn't noticed that before, so maybe it had been doing that for a few shows. I don't know. Anyway, Billy says it doesn't suck. Although he would never say it like that. He would just say it doesn't suck. Neil says, make sure you check your OBS settings to see why it works so well at our end whilst looking like it's all effed up at your end. I don't know. Do you have your loopback settings correct? Yes, I do. Let me check. Universal control. And it should only be coming out of loopback 1, which it is. Oh, I think I see what's going on. I think I see what is going on. It's also going through another loopback, but I don't think OBS is using that loopback. At least it shouldn't be. Oh, actually. Okay, yeah, there's no channel selected in Studio One, so I don't know why that would be. Yeah, I think it's going through loopback 1 and loopback 2 as well. That is probably it, I think. That probably does explain it entirely. But there we go. But yes, so long as you guys are not hearing it twice, I'm happy with that. But thank you, Chris. That was a great suggestion. Dwayne has a great question, which was answered on the keynote video, by the way. But I'll go over that again, just to kind of, you know, make it extra clear. Studio One new naming. Without the version number change, how do we know when we have to purchase an upgrade? That is a very, very, very good question. So, here's the thing. If you are a start that sentence again. Take 2 and action. If you are a perpetual license holder, that is, you are not a subscriber to Studio One Pro Plus, what you will find is that you get 12 months of updates. So that includes these features and maintenance updates. You get that for 12 months. Okay. And you get all of that for no extra cost. Just like whatever you paid to either upgrade or purchase Studio One 7 outright. Okay. So that's what you get. So let's say you bought Studio One Pro 7 perpetual license on yesterday, January 5th. I'm just picking that as an easy number to remember. January 5th, 2025. So let's say you did that. So between January 5th, 2025 and January 6th, 2026, you will get all the feature bundles plus all the maintenance updates, which will fix bugs and stuff like that. I nearly said the other S word again, but I didn't. You'll get all of those for that 12-month period. When that 12-month period comes to an end, then that is at that point that you can decide whether you want to upgrade or not. You don't have to. Now, what we have done in the past is more or less every couple of years, we've brought out a brand new version of Studio One. It's been more or less a year, more or less 2 years. I think in a couple of cases it was 3 years, like going from Studio One version 2 to Studio One version 3 was around about 3 years. And then I think from 3 to 4, I think was 2.5 years. And then 4 to 5 was 2 years. 5 to 6 was 2 years. 6 to 7 was 2 years. So those last 3 versions, it was pretty much exactly 2 years every time. Now, if your budget and your finances are set up so that you are expecting to upgrade every 2 years, you can continue to do that because your perpetual license is a perpetual license. It will continue to work ad infinitum forever. But here's the thing. Ow, smack the microphone. Here's the thing. When you get to the end of your 12 months, at that point, your perpetual license is pretty much frozen in time. And you don't get the feature bundles and you don't get the maintenance updates after that. If you want to continue getting those, that's when you purchase the upgrade, okay? Albeit it's not really an upgrade anymore, but it's technically an upgrade, okay? It's upgrade in name only. But that's what you would do. You just go, okay, I'm just going to buy another 12 months. It's fine. I'll just buy another perpetual license. That'll get me another 12 months. Now, some people think, isn't that the same as a subscription? No, it's not. Because the subscription to Studio One Pro Plus gives you a whole bunch of other things that you don't get with the perpetual license. Let me give you an example of what this is. This would be the same as going from version 6 to version 7. So when version 7 came out, you could have carried on using version 6. It will keep working until it's like end of life and is no longer supported. But in theory, it would keep working for as long as your operating system will continue to support it, will continue to work with it. Which is why there are people in the world today that are still using Studio One version 2, Studio One version 3, Studio One version 4, even Studio One version 5. There are people still using those older versions of Studio One. But there are no new features being released for those, and there are no maintenance updates being released for those versions either. And I'm seeing myself in the YouTube preview doing this an awful lot. Sorry. So I'm going to fold my arms. So going forward, it's going to be exactly the same. It's just that there's not going to be a version 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and so on. It's not going to have a version number anymore. Okay? So when we get to 2026, Studio One will then have a 2026 date on it. Okay? It'll have 2026 point whatever going through the year of 2026. Then when you get to 2027, it will be Studio One 2027 point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever it is. And that's how it will work going forward. So your perpetual license will continue to work regardless. And then if you decide at the end of this 1 year thing that I've been talking about, when you get to January 2026 and you go, I don't think that anything that is coming up in 2026 is going to be my bag. It's not really for me. Plus, I don't really have the budget for it. I was expecting, I'm used to working on a 2-year cycle. You know what? You can continue to do that. You can totally just sit out a whole year if you want to. Now, here's the cool part. If in 2027 you decide, okay, I think what we have now in Studio One is what I'm after. There are features in 2027 that I want, so I'm going to upgrade. So you purchase the upgrade. Cool thing is, everything that happened in 2026, you get as well. Pretty much just like if you had been on Studio One 2 from 2013, and you decide tomorrow that you're going to upgrade to Studio One version 7. That's fine. You get everything in Studio One that has happened in version 3, 4, 5, and 6, as well as the feature set in version 7. So it's the same thing. It's just the versioning is different. That's it. It's very easy. It's very easy to overthink this and overcomplicate it. But it's actually pretty straightforward, pretty simple. It's just all being squashed down in time a little bit. So instead of 2 years, it's 1. But you can still do the 2 years if you want. It's actually arguably a lot more flexible than it has ever been at any time. Albeit, when you're on version 2, you could stay on version 2 until your operating system would no longer run it. Just like, if you had Grand Theft Auto 5, or Grand Theft Auto 3 or 4, you can continue playing that game until your operating system no longer runs it. And then you'd have to buy Grand Theft Auto 5 if you wanted to continue playing Grand Theft Auto. It's the same kind of deal. Same kind of principle. And that's why perpetual licenses are here to stay and why they still do their thing. It's just different, but it's still doing their thing that they've always done. So perpetual licenses are definitely not going away, Dwayne, at all. So I hope that has answered your question. It was a great question. Just Bob says, does Persona still offer tiers, Artist, Pro, and Prime, or is Perpetual the offer now? So what Personas did was they decided to basically streamline everything. So now there is only one version of Studio One, which is Studio One Pro. All right, so Artist has been discontinued, Prime has been discontinued, or they've been retired. They have served us very, very well over the last, 15 years or so. So there's only one version of Studio One now, and it's just called Studio One Pro. Kind of like Logic Pro is called Logic Pro. Studio One is called Studio One Pro going forward. So that's why Prime and Artist have been retired. So that basically there's just one version of Studio One. It's no longer confusing. And you know what? The other thing is, this means that there's no requirement for any kind of comparison chart. You know how we used to have comparison charts on the Personas website, where you could see the feature set for Prime, the feature set for Artist, the feature set of Professional, and then the feature set that you get with Studio One Plus, as it used to be called, or Persona Sphere, as it used to be called. Well, we don't need that anymore, because basically there's just one feature set, plus the features that are available in Studio One Pro Plus, which is the subscription. And the subscription comes with things like the Mix Effects engine plugins, like, the Retro Mix Legends. It also has the collaboration tools and a bunch of other things as well, including Persona Symphonic Orchestra and stuff like that. So those are the things that are available in the subscription. And so basically it's now very, very simple. It's perpetual or it's subscription. And those are your choices. Studio One Pro perpetual or Studio One Pro Plus. That's kind of your options now. So it's a lot simpler. It's a lot more streamlined. But the cool thing is, if you are, let's say you're just a voiceover artist and you don't need the project page, you don't need the launcher, you don't need any of those other things that have been added to Studio One 7, right? So you don't need those. You're just a voiceover artist. That's cool as well, because here's a thing that we have in Studio One, which we introduced in version 6, which is the customize option. So you can customize Studio One to basically hide everything you don't need. So basically you only have access to what you actually need. Okay, so if you want Studio One to be really, really, really just bare bones basic, just recording audio, you can do that. In fact, there's a preset in the customization that does just that. It switches literally everything off apart from what you need for just bare bones audio recording. You can hide the project page, you can hide the show stuff, you can hide the instruments, so that all you need are just the plugins and audio channels. So you can totally do that. If you are a voiceover artist, you still get Studio One Pro, but you just customize it to just hide all the other stuff, hide the launcher, hide the what's the other thing that's kind of next to the launcher? Scratch pads. So you can hide scratch pads, you can hide all of that stuff, and you can just be left with just what you need for doing your voiceovers, for doing your music bed, for doing your voice track, and for doing any kind of room tone track that you do. Because I know a lot of voiceover artists do that. They have like a room tone as well as the music bed and the voice track. So all of those things can just totally be done just using Studio One Pro, but you use the customize feature to hide everything you don't need, so you don't even have access to it. It's all there, it's still there in the program, you just don't ever see it, you don't ever have the buttons for it. So those are really, really cool features for people that just need just basic, 3 or 4 channel audio recording. So I hope that answers both Dwayne and Just Bob, because those are really great questions. And Just Bob says, just trying to figure out how to inform when I get asked. Don't want to give false information. I'm asked a lot when I'm in my favorite music store. There you go. So I hope that's done that for you. He says, thanks for the explanation. Like I said to Kyle, I get asked about Studio One in my favorite music store, and I want to make sure I answer correctly. Well, I hope that has armed you with a whole slew of information there. So you can go to town and you can basically drum up sales for Studio One. If that's what you're into, if people ask you that when you're at the store, then you've got answers that you can give them that will hopefully point them in the direction of Studio One Pro, and Studio One Pro 7 specifically. And if they need collaboration tools, then they can join Studio One Pro Plus. All right, so we have 1 minute left. And then straight after this, instead of the usual after show party, we have the New Orleans Studio One meetup, which starts immediately after I finish this show. And Billy has posted the event link to that. So if you want to go join that, then you can join that in pretty much 60 seconds time. So I don't think we have any other questions. I'm going to go check and make sure I have not missed anything. I don't think I have. I think I have covered everything. Bobby B says a powered USB hub will work. I have one and it works great. Okay, cool. So that kind of may well help me with getting the extra camera. That would be cool. And then all I need to do is just set up an extra camera in OBS and then switch between it. Neil says, so how late did all you crazy Zoomers carry on with the New Year's Zoom? I think we went pretty darn late, actually. I mean, I ran the show here for an hour and a half. And then we went over to Billy's for Zoom, and I think I hung out until like 4 o'clock in the morning for me. So it went pretty late. All right, so with that said, that is the end of the first proper Sunday Night Live of 2025, and that rhymes, which is great. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining me. You guys are totally freaking awesome. I love you all very much. Thank you to my moderators for being very cool. even though they don't really have to do a lot these days. But you never know. You never know what can happen. So thank you guys for being on standby as ever every week. We will be back with Songwriting Simplified on Wednesday, providing I don't forget, because I'm a bit out of the habit, having not done the show for pretty much a month. So yes, we'll be back. So please do go to jonnylipshamstudios.co.uk and email me your songwriting, composing, arranging, and music theory questions. Let's get 2025 kicked off with a bang with some great songwriting questions. And the good news is songwriting challenges are on the books and in the calendar for 2025. And I will be partnering once more with Rich Cresswell for those, for certainly the Christmas and Halloween songwriting contests. And there may be another one. More details to follow, but I'm very excited about all of that. Take care, everybody, and I will see you over at the New Orleans Studio One meetup. See you then, folks. Good night.
Uh-huh.